to eNCA's Nobesuthu Hejana, as well as Lindsay Dentlinger. In fact, is it Ayesha Ismail? There's a lot of moving parts to this story. It is Ayesha. Nobesuthu and Ayesha. Let me start with you, Ayesha. Just tell me, locate me where you are and what you are observing in terms of voter turnout, as well as what the dynamics are at that particular area where you are.
So Tula is where I'm at one of the primary schools here in Pinelands, commonly known as the Blue School. And I must tell you that this morning when we came out to the school, it was pouring with rain and there were loads of people standing here outside at the school waiting to go in to cast their votes. But fortunately, there is a bit of a veranda here at the school where people were able to seek refuge. And I'm not sure if you can see at the moment, there's quite an orderly queue of people standing here because the rain has subsided a bit, and I'm told, well, according to the weather app, there'll be another downpour at around 3 o'clock. So I guess people are coming now to come and cast their votes so that they can avoid standing in the rain. But what also happened earlier during this heavy downpour, the IEC officials did come to take people out of the queue, especially those, the older ones, that came early this morning. So Tula Sizwe, what's happening in the Western Cape, just to give you a bit of a background, is that there are about 3.1 million registered voters in the Western Cape province. Now, also, there are 30 municipalities, and of those, of the 30 municipalities, 19 are run by the Democratic Alliance, and the other municipalities are in coalition governments. Now, we've seen this year with the local government elections a record number of new political parties, smaller political parties, as well as independents registering to contest the local government elections. So it's going to be very interesting to see what impact the smaller parties and the independents will have in the city of Cape Town.
Oh, absolutely, Ayesha. We'll be watching those contests really closely from the heartland, which is the city of Cape Town, where the DA has seemed to be consolidating over a number of years. We'll have to wait and see if they continue with that consolidation. But all the way to, all the way to the Garden Route and the southern parts of the Western Cape, where the electoral contests do get interesting when you throw in the likes of Ayesha, for example, into the mix in Kanaland, and all the way to Knysna and George, etc., etc. Speaking of the Western Cape, Nobesuthu Hejana is at another center, also in Cape Town. Nobesuthu, has the weather impacted voting where you are as it has from where Ayesha is reporting from? Nobesuthu, I don't know if you can hear me. I'm asking if the weather has played a role in voting.
There, but we are in an area called Kosovo. It's Ward 88. It's currently under the ANC. They won about a few months ago during the by-elections. We know that the DA and the ANC in this particular ward, they are contesting. And we've got the new kids on the block, which is the Patriotic Alliance. But throughout this morning, these residents here that you see on the screen have been queuing out. In fact, at around about 8 o'clock this morning, we spoke to residents here who were saying that they got here at 6 o'clock hoping to be first in line, but there were delays here, as we were told by some IEC officials, saying that the issue was with the machines that scan the people here. But we've been trying to speak to voters here who were saying that they don't know why they're voting, because the area of Kosovo is still very under-resourced. I'm just going to ask my colleague Crescendo to show you the pathway where these people were saying that they use those communal toilets and they don't have clear roads or running facilities or ablution facilities. So they were saying that they don't see the point of voting, but they will continue to vote. But I'm also just going to try and grab people on the line who are voting here. In fact, I'm going to try these gentlemen. Tatamu votile namhlanje?
Yes.
bendithetha nabanye abahlali apha bekhala besithi abasiboni isidingo sokuvota ngoba le area yaseKosovo ayinazo into eziphucukileyo.
Like ngolu hlobo ndithetha ngamna ndifike apha ngo-2004 yabo, and then ndihlala phaa ezantsi eMesiya, andinambane nantoni. Oko mna funeka ndisokole, iintambo ezombane ziyabiwa yabo, and then koko irole eyi-1 uyithenga nge-300 and then funeka babembini ezaa ntambo eziyana. Kubuhlungu nangoku ndizovota ndivota ngentliziyo yam ibuhlungu qha ndisingavoti because kunyanzelekile ndivote yabona. Phota indlela endihlala ngayo apha kubuhlungu. Enkosi ntangam, yeva.
Siyabulela tatamu. Well, Tulas, Utata Apa is saying that he's voting with a very broken heart because where he stays, he doesn't have electricity and he has to ask, or rather there is still electricity illegally. So he's hoping that by his vote today, things will change. But throughout Cape Town, it has been raining, and we understand that the IEC has also gave comment about the impact that the rain had here in Cape Town. And I believe we do have a bite from the spokesperson in the province.
In the province, we set up 35 temporary structures as voting stations, either because there was no permanent dwelling available, or the permanent structures that were there were already booked out, given the fact that it was this whole period started over a weekend. So we have a number of temporary structures. Of our 1,577, 35 are temporary. The majority of those temporary structures are in the Cape Town metro. The one impact that we have now experienced, as you could notice, anybody who's been outside, is the weather, and the rain is affecting our, especially our operations at our tents. We have had incidents where we needed to call out our suppliers in 2 cases to come and reinforce our tent structures. We have identified tents specifically in Site B in Khayelitsha, in Maracana, in Philippi East, and also then in Makassar, which is also in Khayelitsha specifically, and we are paying attention to that together with the assistance of the disaster management unit of the City of Cape Town, and also then with our suppliers in that particular regard.
That's the IEC Western Cape's Michael Hendricks there, ending that reporting from my colleague Nobesuthu Hejana, who is out in the area known as Kosovo, in the area of Cape Town. Just for context, the DA controls the city of Cape Town. It won it by 66.61%. That was back in 2016, and to the ANC's 24.36%. So look out for more reporting from our colleagues in the Western Cape as the numbers start coming in and we see how that map is shaping up.